time now for the business news, and I'm joined in the studio by Catherine Bennett, and you're starting with a story about French lawmakers wanting to prevent a repeat of a food scandal that certainly made headlines last year.
That's right. So French lawmakers are trying to stop what happened last year with Lactalis from happening again. Lactalis is the world's largest dairy group, and it had to recall more than 12 million tins of baby milk after 36 babies contracted salmonella. Lawmakers met on Wednesday to discuss how to prevent an international scandal like this from reoccurring. They want the government to create a food safety police and impose higher fines on those who sell contaminated products. They also want to introduce barcodes that would signal a recalled product at checkout so the customer can't take it home. And faced with dropping oil revenues and skyrocketing inflation, Venezuelans have had to get creative to find new business opportunities. Two young engineers have found inspiration in the most unlikely of places. They're building car parts out of plastic waste. Anke Ulla tells us more.
One man's trash is another man's business opportunity. Albermar Dominguez and John Nazir sift through garbage in this Caracas dump, searching for plastic. Old computer monitors are reborn as car parts by way of this 3D printer. The two engineers founded the company Novartis that now supplies 13 Venezuelan firms with this recycled plastic filament. It also produces intricate plastic parts like transmission gear cogs.
First, we're producing the prime material nationally. Second, we're focusing on the circular economy, using residues from other industrial processes and recycling them.
5 years of economic contraction have taken a toll on Venezuela's manufacturing sector. With annual inflation at nearly 50,000%, companies that rely on costly imports have seen production slow dramatically. Novartis filament helps lower costs for these firms by up to 40%. By cutting international transport costs. The fact that Novartis exists at all is remarkable. Entrepreneurs in Venezuela face an uphill battle.
The economic crisis has damaged the entrepreneurial ecosystem, meaning there are no strong institutions that can properly support initiatives like ours, or competitions that offer enough capital to develop a project like this one.
Dominguez and Nazir are now trying to encourage other Venezuelan companies to adopt 3D printing technology as well.
And now let's have a quick look at what the markets are doing. Europe markets staying in the red at the moment as investors digest corporate results. London's FTSE has been hovering around the flat line, while the CAC 40 is down by almost 0.5%, and Frankfurt's DAX down by just over 1/3%. And now for a few stories coming out of the UK, of course, all to do with Brexit. The Publishers Association has released figures from 2017 that show book exports make up the bulk of the industry's income. In 2017, book sales rose to £3.7 billion, or €4 billion, while exports accounted for £1.6 billion of that figure, or €1.8 billion. The UK is the biggest exporter of books in the world, with 36% of its books last year heading across the Channel to the EU. The industry warns that post-Brexit tariffs and other barriers could harm that flow. The warning comes off the back of a bumper year for publishers, as sales of books were up by €6.4 billion. Right now, citizens can drive on Europe's roads, but after Brexit, that might not be the case. Brussels will have to agree to recognise UK driving licences in the UK. If it doesn't, the UK government could have to issue 7 million international driving permits within the first year after Brexit, risking, of course, a huge backlog. And Theresa May is in Northern Ireland today in an attempt to iron out the contentious issue of the Irish border. It's her first visit to the border since becoming Prime Minister. With only 8 months to go until Britain officially leaves the EU, Ireland's Prime Minister Leo Varadkar has said that they are preparing for the worst. The Irish government is going to hire 1,000 customs agents to carry out checks on agricultural products and animals travelling between Ireland and the UK after Brexit. And in New York, Airbnb has lost another battle over data. The city's housing committee voted a bill on Wednesday that would make Airbnb hand over the addresses and details of hosts who use its site. Airbnb says that it's an invasion of their hosts' privacy. This latest restriction comes as part of increased regulation of online rental services, which authorities say are intensifying the housing crisis. And Novartis is the second US drug maker to announce that it will not increase drug prices this year. Last week, Pfizer said the same thing after US President Donald Trump waded into the fray. He sent an acerbic tweet in his usual style, lambasting Pfizer for raising prices and accusing the company of taking advantage of the poor. So Pfizer backtracked, saying instead that it would postpone any price hikes. Novartis told Bloomberg that the decision to pause price hikes was the prudent thing to do after looking at the US's current policy environment. And that's all from me for the business news.
Thank you.